The final station is an intriguing action game with a heavy emphasis on telling a story. Figuring out what is actually going on might be a struggle. When I first saw the final station, I equated its gameplay to a roguelite survival game similar to The Flame and the Flood, Don't Starve, and The Sunless Sea, thinking it would have some story but mostly stick to survival gameplay. But when I came to play the final station, I realized it wasn't a roguelite at all. Sure, it had item management of food, medical supplies, and ammo like a normal survival game, but when I died, it allowed me to restart the level or restart from a checkpoint in the level. It seemed to be more focused on telling a story with environmental clues, notes, and by either listening to or having conversations, be it more one-sided as you only see your character's dialogue through the computer monitor conversations, and ellipses with face-to-face conversations. Starting the game, you figure out that you are a train conductor who is now in control of a new experimental train. It is your job to maintain the train, cargo, and its passengers, as well as getting the unlock code at each station to keep the train moving. As you travel on the tracks, you learn that there was something called the First Visitation, which caused plenty of death and destruction around the world, but most information about it has been suppressed by the government. But it is quickly confirmed that a second visitation is starting to happen before your eyes, and you might be able to help the government and its people survive with the use of your train. So it is up to you to go to each station in search of the station unlock code, possibly save civilians, scavenge for supplies, and survive. You will always have a goal location to head toward for your train. That location might be a place to drop off civilians, buy supplies, get weapon upgrades, gain cargo, and generally get more information about what's going on. But before you hit these safe locations, you will have several stops in between. Basically, the game is split into two types of gameplay: exploring/surviving at stops, and maintaining the train and its passengers while riding in it between stations. Because the train you are in charge of is experimental, it does have a few issues with power usage. On each trip between stations, you will have to maintain different parts of the train. When an electrical system needs work done on it, it will spark, showing where the issues lie. Examples of this are a switch on the back of the train that needs to be pulled down every so often, and the air conditioner toward the front of the passenger car requires you to hit buttons to keep an even charge. Also, depending on the cargo you pick up, they will have their own set of mini-games that have to be done to keep the train in shape. If the sparking areas aren't taken care of and the power usage maxes, the train will stop and the air circulation shuts down. That will lead the passenger car to be filled with smoke and slowly drain the passengers' health bars. The item management, for the most part, is keeping you and your passengers alive. The benefits of keeping certain passengers alive can be money, upgrades, and items. They will also have unique conversations with each other, which you can overhear while you maintain the passengers' health and hunger, as well as the condition of the train. While it is nice to see the conversations that the passengers are having, the problem is you might have to miss parts of those conversations, having to move around, fixing electrical issues, getting food or medical supplies, or even having a conversation of your own on the train computer. On the train computer, there are tabs for messages, the map, power readout, and crafting. You can craft ammo and medpacks if you have the right supplies. Supplies which you can find while exploring the semi-linear stations. At each station, you will rifle through people's cabinets, notes, homes, and whatever else, looking for ammo, meds, supplies, and getting bits of world-building information. At a lot of these stations, you will encounter black creatures transformed by the visitation that are almost zombie-like. You'll either have to avoid or deal with these creatures, but seeing as most of the game's level structures are linear, you will have to fight back against most of them, either with guns you find, objects you throw, or by fist alone. The latter of which can become the main strategy, backing away as you hit a creature a few times until they fall down. But guns might be better for some of these creatures, as some explode if they get close. Others have armor which with a punch will knock a helmet off, and then with a shot to the head will topple it. The punching method might be a little slower, more tedious, and more dangerous, but it will save you ammo for when you need it most, as I learned from my first playthrough. That is the basic gameplay loop. Do train stuff, explore stuff, and then eventually main story stuff, kinda looping around. The main thing that kept me going was to figure out what was going on, how was it going to end, and to see what weird things they were going to show off next. Because as you travel through this world, you see beauty and blandness, oddities and creepiness, and an overall confusion at what is going on. One moment your train is speeding by a misty lake, the next you are deep within a creepy dark tunnel. Then within the same tunnel, there are two moons. The interesting art style is what caught my eye when I first saw previews for this game, and that art style continued to impress me all the way through with how detailed and appealing it could be. Complementing that art design was a soundtrack that made the world feel empty at times with mellow tones, that sometimes reminded me of the save room music from the Resident Evil series. At other times it could make you feel uncomfortable, alone in the dark exploring a dimly lit tunnel station, reminding me of the industrial sounds of the Silent Hill series. When I came to a city filled with people unaware of the dangers outside their smog-covered homes, I felt calmer due to the mellow, calming tones and the sense of safeness being surrounded by so many people going about their lives. For a game around 4 hours, I think the elements from the story, coupled with the satisfying visuals and mellow tones, kept me going to see more. But as I stated at the beginning, figuring out what happens with the story might be a little hard to do because it can be looked at bluntly, or as some in forum discussions have tried to do, interpret what the story might allude to. Just gonna say without spoiling it, the ending might make you confused or annoyed, but overall I enjoyed my time with it, trying to piece together all the details. So if you can enjoy the main gameplay loop for about 4 hours or so, and be okay with a single, slightly confusing ending, then you might want to check this game out. Thanks for watching. Any comments, likes, or dislikes on this video, or any of my other videos would be appreciated. By clicking these annotations, you can check out my recent reviews on Road to the Dead 2, a game I was requested to review years after I probably should have, and the FMV Semi-Courtroom Simulator game, In the First Degree. Also, if you want to get in contact with me, message me on YouTube or Twitter.